Hey y'all, it's Alex and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing the first page in my 21st sketchbook. Yes, my sketchbooks are finally allowed to drink. That was a stupid joke in the last video and it's a stupid one now. But my 20th sketchbook was this one. You can check the link for the tour of this one in the top right corner. When I started this sketchbook, I admit I had already drawn a few things in the next pages. This sketchbook holds all of my Draw This in Your Style challenge pieces, which this is an excellent reminder. If you haven't done those and you plan to, the deadlines for all of them in order. For the first one, the deadline is the 16th of December, then the next one is the 18th, and the final one the 20th. I've gotten some really cool submissions for the first and the last one, but none for the middle yet, so if that sways whichever one you decide to pick. Over the course of me it's been my 19th, 20th, and 21st sketchbooks while having a YouTube channel. And for every single one, it's kind of been a theme of mine to have piercings in them somehow. The first one I did was a self-portrait. Then the next one for my 20th sketchbook was a design of my channel mascot, I guess would kind of be the best way to name her. It's Captain Morgan Bass and her dog Wallace. I have a video of me drawing them and I will link that right now. But I think I'm going to kind of make it a thing where I kind of go back and forth between a self-portrait and my channel icon. And I will admit, I was a little bit aimless at the beginning of this process. I didn't know exactly how I wanted to start, so I started with this big circle thinking that that would be the piercing at the very center of the image. But then I thought it would be kind of cool to have that be the label, because I wanted to incorporate it a little bit more than the other, well, I wanted to incorporate it at all in comparison to the other two, because Sketchbook 19, it was just kind of like, I have an image down at the bottom of the page and then a whole bunch of rules up top. And then last sketchbook, I just had kind of like a border on either side, and I wanted to actually incorporate the sketchbook title and the start and finish date in it somewhere. And I also decided that since I'd already tested watercolor, colored pencil, and alcohol markers in this sketchbook, I was going to take this opportunity to test out Posca pens. I didn't know exactly what color palette I wanted to do. I absolutely love the combination of like this teal blue and the lilac and the dark purple, but also I really love teal blue and red. So I decided that I was gonna do half and half, because I literally spent an hour trying to figure out which color set I was going to use. This video isn't meant to be a particular review of this paper, but I've gotta say, I really love this stuff. It takes the Posca pens really well. It does curl, but that is to be expected of pretty much any sketchbook. I did have a lot of problems getting my pens to work this week. I've been using them a lot recently, and whenever I happen to do a tour of this sketchbook, you'll know exactly how, like, the first bit of this sketchbook is a lot of Posca pen work. One thing I'm wishing I had while I was working on this piece was the thinnest black Posca pen to be able to do all of the fine line work around my self-portrait down here, because I bought the 0.7, I think it's a 0.7, it might be a 0.9 nib, thinking that that was the smallest, and then I got home and looked at my 0.5 or whatever white Posca pen, and I'm like, really, Blick, you couldn't carry the smallest Posca pen in black? I did end up buying it at Joann Fabrics the other week, so I do have that, and it has been an absolute savior for all of my Posca art. I think my favorite tiny detail in this piece is the little skeleton bracelet. My girlfriend actually got me a bracelet like this for Christmas in, I want to say, either 2015 or 2016, and I don't wear it a lot because I don't typically like wearing bracelets. I've even stopped wearing my watch out places, but I think it's absolutely adorable, and I just needed something that wasn't a black band to add to to kind of accessorize my self-portrait self here. I'm realizing now that I really don't have a lot to say. I mean, it's Posca pen work. It's not like there's a whole lot to be done about it. I will say that in this sketchbook, it does take a little bit of layering at some points. That might also be I didn't shake up the Posca pens as much as I could have, but the Posca pen doesn't bleed through the paper at all. I'm very happy with that. To be safe though, I did keep a sheet of paper in between this page and the next. I didn't want to ruin the draw this in your style. One thing I have started doing with my Posca pens, I want to use them in more detailed pieces, and that means that I have to be either using pens with smaller nibs or I need to be finding other ways to use them, which is why I've started putting out a whole bunch of ink and then smoothing out the paint with a paintbrush. It really helped me in going around all of the little parts around the piercings. Also, I want to say that my eyes are not gold. I just wanted to be able to use as few colors in this as possible. I didn't want to bring in a brown and just have like my eyes be the little spot of brown. Up here, particularly around where my hair is, that brush really came in handy. And around when I go around the hand. So in the future, there's still plans for me to work on improving my typography, but I think this is probably the best typography I've done on one of my cover pages thus far. At least I didn't misspell sketchbook this time. You'll have to go watch my my 20th sketchbook to figure out where I went wrong on the word sketchbook. I still can't believe I did that. And I actually, if you saw in the beginning, I wrote out sketchbook to make sure I had it A, spelled correctly, and B, centered inside of the circle. One thing I'm still a little mad about myself when I designed piercings is the fact that they're just big circles, and I suck at drawing circles. So going through and doing the line art for them is a lot of me going back and forth with my circle template, I guess is the best word. Another type of pen I think I need to get the smaller Posca in is the metallics, because though I like the Sakura Jelly Roll metallics, sometimes they don't come out as opaque, like the glitter settles and then you have to wait for it to resettle the opposite direction. I've started storing them horizontally to see if that helps anything, but we'll see about that. For a lot of these piercings, I didn't really even want to bother keeping the arms fully white before going in and actually putting the Posca pen around them, so I just kind of put the arms back in with some white ink later. I still don't have the most opaque white ink pens, but I think you can't really tell from afar. And sorry for the really crappy angle here, just focusing on my ugly cat-scratched hand, but my camera has once again been sliding whenever I put it at a wrong angle, so I figure it's better to have a stable shot. And Rosebud decided that she wanted to join me on my desk for a little bit. Because this is definitely a place for kitties. And she has gone back to her spot, and about 45% of the time I'm filming, she'll just be sitting there batting at my arm. And as a final touch that I usually give in all of my Posca pieces, I went around and put all of these little stars and circles, because I don't like leaving them as just flat color. They just have to have something a little bit more, I feel. The last thing I did was go in with some colored pencil leads in my mechanical pencils and put in some shading and some blushing. I would have done this with Posca pens, but since I left my skin tone white, I didn't want to have a ridiculously dark shadow or ridiculously dark blushing. I think that would have looked absolutely ridiculous. Alrighty, that is the cover of my 21st sketchbook. I started it technically on November 5th, but this cover page was done a few days after. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'm already a good 15 or so, maybe 20 pages into this sketchbook, so I have a feeling I'm going to go through this one pretty quickly. I hope you guys join me again in my next video. If you feel so inclined, hit that subscribe button and check me out on my other social media handles. I would absolutely love it if you guys would be willing to share my content, and over on Instagram I am like a hop and a skip away from 1,000 followers, and I'm hoping to do something special for that. I have the Draw This in Your Style challenge coming up in 2 weeks, and if you want to get your entries in for that, I will, I'm accepting those on Twitter and Instagram. So, thank you guys, and I'll see y'all in the next one.